Now that it's been about a week since Valve went ahead and released their relatively major update, today we're going to be breaking down the market impacts of it. Now starting off with the update itself, it brought a couple decent sized things. First up, we got a couple brand new maps, Thera and Mills and Memento and Assembly. These are 4 actual maps, and then we got Pool Day in addition to this, which is going to be an arms race, plus a lot of brand new just clipping things for the C4. And then if we want to look at this, a lot of video settings coming into play here, which is really good considering the optimization of this game is still definitely not at a point where it's absolutely perfect. A lot of people still struggle in this area, and the fact they're focusing on it right now is a very good thing. However, one thing that was not in here that a lot of people were looking for is something relating to VAC. Now VAC seems to be on a little bit of its own island at this point. It's not really doing too much, but coming back to the update here, it's very interesting because in my opinion we got 4 actual maps, and these are going to be the very similar design to what we saw in an operation shop where we see 4 brand new collections there. It's a little bit of a copium, and I definitely don't think it's anything too crazy, but it's definitely interesting at this point that they brought in 4 when they could have brought in any number of actual maps, obviously disincluding the arms race. Skin Swap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with the top link in the description. They're here to cater to all of your CS2 and Rust skins need, as they're the top place for buying on some brand new skins, selling off your old skins, or trading your new CS2 skins for some new ones as well. They've got everything, and transactions are taking under 30 seconds right now. They also offer the most competitive rate out there as a massive 40% deposit bonus if you just top up today, and their selling feature is one of the best. With an instant cash out and many different payout options, there's no reason not to try them out today. Now talking about the current state of the market is actually quite interesting. Now in the previous video we talked about the summer sale and how the summer sale traditionally usually doesn't impact too much. However, in 2023 we saw a rather big impact because of it. Now in the current moment we're really not be seeing too much going on. Now obviously this is very early into the summer sale and we've definitely got a lot of time to develop here, but it's very interesting that we're not seeing those crazy significant drops like we saw in 2023, suggesting that that might have been potentially something that was just a little bit of an outlier, or we could be having that come a little bit in the future here. Now if you didn't watch that video, just a quick recap, usually we're seeing active duty cases dropping down the most because they're the most volatile. I think this is a very clear path to follow. We actually saw rare cases drop down a pretty significant amount in 2023. This is most likely due to the fact that people were selling them off in order to try and buy games. Obviously skins are usually down a bit during this time too, but skins take a while to recover. When we're looking at a lot of these rare cases, we saw significantly quicker recoveries. We're talking about a recovery in just 3 to 4 weeks. When we're talking about the skins, we were looking at roughly 2 months, and when we're talking about the active duty cases, most of them didn't really recover because they were already so cheap and they just kind of kept going down in price. I would say if you're going to look at anything because of the Steam summer sale, rare cases are going to be the best area to potentially check out unless you're looking at skins because you want some for playing. Now when we're talking about investing, one of the most important tools we use overall on this channel, nearly every video, is going to be the case unboxing numbers. Now this is a website called CSGO It's extremely useful for any investment that you're trying to make, whether it's an active duty case. You can see over here on the right hand side we got these blue ones. Over here on the left hand side we've got all of the confirmed rare. Orange are going to be your discontinued, and yellow is going to be that Anubis package. But the truth is we've been running into a little bit of an issue here. That's because this website has had trouble in the past just with any new update, and we're now in a little bit of a predicament because case unboxing numbers are now down nearly 50%, and therefore it raises the question of if this is an actual trend we're starting to consistently see, or is this something that overall has just been an issue with the website. At this point I am starting to lean a little bit more towards we're overall seeing these case unboxing numbers down quite significantly. If we want to look at it, we're down to about 3.5 million every week, which is roughly 500,000 per day, which is nearly 50% less than what we were seeing beforehand, as I just mentioned, and therefore I definitely want to point this out because this is a quite significant drop at this point. Obviously a lot of these unboxings have transitioned over into these active duty cases. In 2023 we looked at a lot of rare cases being unboxed percentage wise, but now when we're looking at it in 2024 it is significantly less than this percentage we saw previously. Obviously a lot of rare cases are still being unboxed, but it's very important to realize that right now active duty cases are where everyone is at for unboxing cases, and therefore that's why when we look at the case market we might not be seeing too much major price movement at the current moment. Now there have been some pretty interesting developments that I don't really know where to group. Specifically I saw this tweet right here saying that we for the past 3 months have been getting a relatively decent sized update every month at the end of the month, which is very interesting, and it's actually something that at least is pretty reliable in the short term here. 3 straight months of this definitely suggests something is potentially up. Similar things seem to be going on with Dota 2, but now that the pattern has been recognized, it's probably not even going to matter because it's going to be skipped next month. Otherwise, Valve also went ahead and released their brand new recording option. Very interesting right here, specifically that you can go ahead and clip things without having to have OBS or something else running in the background and taking up a lot of your data or potential playability. I think it's a really great development right here. I think it's going to be something that brings in a lot of the casual players, which is very nice. price. Valve also has their Steam controller too, which is now only available inside of Japan, but it's definitely interesting. They're still working on developing the controller because I definitely don't think that's part of their market, but I guess they're still trying to expand into it. Now, one thing I'm going to highly encourage you to go ahead and do is not buy into this specific thing right here. That's going to be filler skins. Right now, filler skins are something that a lot of people are looking at with a potential operation or major update on the horizon. Usually, filler skins are one of the easiest ways to make a significant amount of profit if you're buying into them before some update comes along and happens. Obviously, we're not in a position right now where we're expecting to see any update just because these maps came out. It's the first ones of CS2, but they're not going to go ahead and release an operation shortly after that, in my personal opinion. However, the reason we're not going to be buying into these right now, or at least I don't suggest, is because they're most likely going to continue dropping down in price. That's because of the way the new drop system works, where filler skins are significantly more likely to go ahead and be created, and therefore there's a significant amount more supply than there was previously. And when we're seeing extremely low demand like we are right now, the odds that the price is going to continue going down is significantly more likely than the odds that the price is somehow going to recover and start going back up. You're free to do whatever you would like, but when we're seeing a market that overall is starting to stagnate a little bit just because there's not really anything too much going on, and usually during the summertime we're not seeing massive amounts of growth anyways, I think it'd be a really poor money making decision if you wanted to go ahead and put your money into this, at least for right now, unless you're looking to hold on to them for a very, very long period of time. Talking about the case market specifically, and I want to zoom out a little bit, focusing only on the 1 year graph, we're starting to see a lot of these cases approach that 1 year low in price point. Now, if we want to look at the overall graph, it's not too surprising. Obviously, in October, we had that very big spike for a lot of cases. We saw a very significant amount of increased demand. But if we want to look ever since then, we really haven't been seeing too much going on, especially for the quantity sold. It's been relatively constant since the beginning of 2024, and that's extremely good if you're an investor that's trying to get in right now. I think there's a lot of opportunity inside of this area, and for all of these rare cases, nearly every single one, the supply has gone down at least a decent amount since the start of the year. With that being said, obviously there are a little bit of a stagnation going on right now, just because if we want to look at the player count going up, it's a lot of casual players, and overall the unboxings really haven't been happening because there's not too much going on inside of the game other than just this specifically. Talking about those case unboxing numbers, usually they are propped up at least a decent amount by the fact that people are interested in the game, and when the game is getting views, people are a lot more likely to go ahead and open up large amounts of cases because they can usually make back their return, which is not something we've really been seeing, at least in the short term here. The people that are dedicated to watching CS are really the only people that are interested at the moment. Now, what am I doing right now? I'm actually doing two specific things. First up, if you're someone that's into trade ups right now, it's a great opportunity to go ahead and get some of those inputs. Personally, I'm making a video where I'm going from nothing to a knife once again, and I'm getting a lot of my trade up inputs and doing the trade ups right now. It's a great opportunity to get some of these at a little bit of a cheaper price point. Otherwise, talking about investing, I'm personally just watching the market right now. I'm not making any investments because I don't think that the market is relatively in a place where it's going to be starting to increase quite significantly overnight. Therefore, I'm not rushing into making any investments because I don't think it's really going to matter too much in the short term here. I'm looking at my investments, looking at what I want to pick up when the prices potentially drop down a little bit, but I'm doing nothing today. That's all I got with you guys. So much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.